Would you be the jerk for bringing up some of your own parents' dirty laundry at Christmas dinner just to get your parents to shut up? We'll get into that in a bit, but first, am I the jerk for telling my wife the lock on my daughter's door does not get removed till my brother-in-law and his daughters are out of our house? My brother-in-law, Sammy, lost his home shortly after his divorce 10 months ago. He moved in with us and brought his twin daughters, Olivia and Sloane, 18, with him a couple of months ago. His sister, my wife, and I have one daughter, Zoe, 16, and she and her cousins aren't close, but they get along fine. Olivia and Sloane have no respect for Zoe's privacy, none. They used to walk into her room and take everything they get their hands on. Makeup, phone accessories, clothes, school laptop, etc. Zoe complained a lot, and I've already asked the girls to respect Zoe's privacy and stop taking things. My wife and Sammy saw no issue with this. After all, they're girls, and this is typical teenage girls' behavior. I completely disagreed. Last straw was when Zoe bought a $60 MAC makeup kit that looks like a paint set that she saved up for over a month, and one of the girls, Sloane, took it without permission and ruined it by mixing shades together while using it. Don't know much about makeup, but that's what Zoe said when she found the kit on her bed and was crying. I told my wife, and she said that she would ask Sloane to apologize, but I got Zoe a lock after I found she was moving valuable belongings out of the house because of this incident. Sammy and his daughters saw the lock and weren't happy. The girls were extremely upset. Sammy asked about it, and I straight up told him. He said, "My daughters aren't thieves. It's normal that girls of the same age borrow each other's stuff." He said Zoe could easily get another makeup kit for $15 from Walmart and shouldn't even be buying expensive adult makeup in the first place, and suggested my wife take care of this defect in Zoe's personality trying to appear older than she is. He accused me of being overprotective and babying Zoe with this level of enablement. I told him this is between me and my wife, but she shamed me for putting a lock on Zoe's door for her cousins to see and preventing them from spending time with her, saying I was supposed to treat them like daughters. Then demanded I remove it, but I said this lock does not get removed till her brother and his daughters are out of our house. She got mad I was implying we kicked them out, and said her family will hate me for this. So I reminded her that I let Sammy and his family move in, which is something her own family refused to do, so she should start shaming and blaming them for not taking their own son and nieces and granddaughters in. If it wasn't for her family's unwillingness to help, we wouldn't be dealing with this much disturbance at home. Everyone's been giving me and Zoe silent treatment, and my wife is very much upset over this. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of shocked here. I feel like if there was anybody that should have been in Zoe's corner, it would have been the wife. I mean, just from the sense that you would think that there would be more relating in a situation like this from the wife to the daughter. I mean, anybody can understand the concept of having your own stuff in your own room and not wanting people to go and mess around with it and interfere with it. It's not cutesy family bonding if I go into my artist brother's room and start drawing mustaches on all the paintings he's making. I mean, come on, you can just paint more. I would hate to see a relationship blow up over something so petty, but do you guys in the comments think this relationship might already be on the rocks just from what's happening here and what OP's seeing? I'd love to know what you guys think. Ribbies11 commented, "Not the jerk. You are the only one sticking up for Zoe. If her cousins want to use expensive makeup, give them your wife's. I guarantee she won't appreciate sharing anymore." Alternatively, Joffchip commented, "You are the jerk for not asking your brother to move out. Things have gone south already. They're giving you the silent treatment in your own house." Also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you guys enjoy getting to decide whether or not all of these people are jerks, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? Our next story is, am I the jerk for despising my mentally handicapped sister? The title makes me sound horrible, but hear me out. My sister is severely autistic. She requires attention almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She's nonverbal and cannot take care of herself at all. Despite the fact that she's only 12, she is extremely destructive and violent and destroys anything she gets her hands on. I hate her. That should be wrong to say, but it doesn't feel like it. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then, I've never solely had my parents' attention. Even since I can remember, the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room into the basement at 7 because she needed to be in the room next to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and my parents simply ignored me when I complained. Even when I was 14 and she destroyed a Mac my school gave me, I was in the wrong. Along with this, I'm expected to take care of her and drop everything I do for her. I can never make plans with friends because my parents expect me to be there if they need me to take care of her. Even when I do somehow get time to myself, I'm required to leave if they need me. If I don't, then I'm punished. The recent example of this is when I went to see the latest Spider-Man movie and was grounded because I turned my phone off in the theater. It seems as if I'm nothing more than a slave to them and anything involving her simply overshadows me. This last week, I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited and my parents promised to be there, but they never showed and claimed it was because of my sister. Anytime anything like this happens for me, they're too busy with her. I've held this in for so long and it finally spilled out today. While talking about colleges with my father, he joked that I should get a degree that pays well so when they're gone, I can take care of my sister. I don't know why, but this caused me to break down. I cried and screamed about how it was always about her. I'm nothing more than a caretaker to them, that they always make it about her and that I'm expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I've locked myself in my room since then, and my parents have not come to check on me. Am I the jerk here? Edit/update kinda. Wow, thank you for all the support and love that you guys have given me. I never expected this post to reach the popularity it did. Thank you all. After thinking about it for these past hours, you're right that I don't despise my sister. It's not her fault that she was born the way she is. My parents came to talk to me a while after my breakdown, but I was unable to bring myself to talk to them and only cried and asked them to leave. They've made arrangements with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and I'm getting ready to go to his house. My parents want to talk to me, but we've decided it's best that I leave for now to have some space and time to collect myself. We'll be sitting down and talking later this week about this issue. Thank you all again for the love and support through this. I'll send an update your guys' way later this week if people are interested. I would hope, and you guys can debate me on this, but I feel like it should be pretty clear that OP doesn't actually truly hate their sister. It's just a product of how their parents have treated them and raised them for all of those years. I mean, how do you not grow to resent somebody that you're treated lesser than for all 14, 15, 16 years of your life? Thankfully, OP did go on to post an update. Update, am I the jerk for despising my mentally handicapped sister? I'm back like I said I would be. My original post got a lot of attention, and seeing as you guys seem interested, here's my update. Well, since that day I've made the post, I've been staying with my grandfather. The week's been honestly a huge change for me for the better and for worse, but I'll try to run it down. I started by telling my grandpa the story of why I broke down the way I did, and to be honest, he seemed horrified. No one in my family knew my parents were using me as essentially a free care service for my sister. My grandpa told me some things that I don't feel comfortable repeating here, but in essence, my sister is supposed to be getting care from a professional, and that my parents were ignoring that. Along with this, I wasn't supposed to be caring for her at all with her mental state, as apparently she's a danger to herself and others. With everything else I've told him, along with stuff like the movie incident, he was really mad and told me not to contact my parents without them there. He pretty much told me that he would be meeting with my parents beforehand and that he was going to be there when I sat down with them. It didn't end here either. The rest of the week consisted of other family checking in on me and telling me things that my parents hid from me. This included the fact that my parents have been taking money from family to fund a caretaker that doesn't exist. Suffice to say, this week has been rough, but the upside is that even through all this, my extended family has been giving me more love than I've felt in a while. My grandfather spent the last week making up for the time I've lost, encouraging me to spend time with friends and do things I want to do. My aunts and uncles have also been helping me through the week. Well, Saturday night, I sat down with parents to talk. It went badly to say the least. They came clean to me about everything. They told me things I will not repeat here, but they didn't apologize. My parents still claimed that I somehow owed my sister my time. My father even was saying, "You were put here to be her caretaker." I won't lie and say I was composed. After everything I learned, I confronted them on the fact that my sister needed a caretaker, the money my dad was taking from his sister, and a few other things. They denied it or made excuses, and in the end, we ended off in a worse place than before. Today will be my last time talking to them for a while. After talking with my grandfather and uncle last night, I'm not going back. Later today, I'm going there and picking up my stuff and moving in with my grandfather. When I graduate high school, I'm planning on leaving the state to go to school. My aunt has told me that the money she was sending to my dad will be instead coming to me from now on. My parents have called me twice since Saturday. Neither of them were to apologize and only ask when I was coming home. I won't be going back to them. Right now, I still feel pretty uneasy about everything, but I feel like that'll pass. The rest of my family is showing their support to me, and honestly, it feels great. But in the end, I lost my parents. Over all of this, I've learned something that I wished I saw earlier. I don't hate my sister. In fact, I love her with all my heart. I should never have projected my hate onto her. That was wrong. And someday I hope to make up for it, but now I need to leave. So there's my update. Thanks again for the support my original post got. I really appreciate everyone who took the time to comment or show me support. Thank you. Edit. Thank you all so much. I wish I could respond to every single one of you, but my lunch only lasts so long. I'll update tonight how the move out went, but until then, thank you all. I want to say that your support has been amazing and your kindness means more to me than anyone could ever imagine. Late edit. Wow, I never imagined my story would reach the popularity it did. I know it's kind of cliche and I've said it 1,000 times, but thank you all. We just got back from moving my things out of my parents' house. Everything I wanted to take, my grandpa and uncle helped move, and it's at my grandpa's house now. I have my birth certificate, social security card, and every other document and record I could think of. My parents were quiet the whole time I was there. Shortly after I arrived, my dad left with my sister, and my mom only hovered over us silently as we moved. It took a while, but as we left, she broke down and told me she loved me and would miss me. I hugged her and said goodbye, and that was it. Even now, I sit here and think if she really meant it. After this whole week of her not saying anything, she waited till the end. I hope she meant it. Right now, though, I think I just need to look ahead. Maybe one day, me and my parents can reconnect. I hope so. Thank you all for the advice and love. It's been amazing, and I'm glad through this experience, I at least got some positive out of this mess. Will I come back? I don't know. If something happens and you guys still want an update, I'll maybe come around again, but for now, I'm going to move on. For all of those out there who shared their stories with me, thank you, and I hope to see you on the other side. See you, Space Cowboys. So yeah, a really kind of a bittersweet update. I mean, I can't lie, it's kind of painful to hear of OP's mom hovering over and then finally only breaking down at the very last second. It makes me hope sincerely that it was from some place of genuine emotion and not just like it finally sinking in that OP is serious and there's no getting your kid back here and just being upset that you can't keep control of things. Torterrain commented, "You didn't lose your parents lost you. This should give them some time to think about what they've done wrong and hopefully repent." Our next story is, am I the jerk for suing my girlfriend after she had my 1967 Impala project taken to the scrapyard? I'll try to keep this short. I had a 1967 Impala 4-door that I bought in February 2019. A couple months ago, I bought my first house that had a 2.5 car garage. I moved the car in and started tearing it down for a complete restoration. I had the body in one bay and the chassis in another, plus the whole garage filled with parts. About 2 months ago, my girlfriend came to live with me during this whole crisis and the whole time has hated that car. She wants to park in the garage, but I have 2 acres of land with a lot of nice places to park under shady trees or heck, even in the barn if it has to be inside. I tell her tough luck, it's my house and it's not like I can just throw it back together real quick. Anyway, I was out of town for a couple of days on a business trip for the small local company I work for. When I got back, my girlfriend was all smiles, making me food all the time, doing all the chores, all that. I thought maybe she was just happy to have me home, but then I realized that I didn't see her car in its usual spot. I asked her where she parked so I could make sure that I mow that area and keep it clean, and she said not to worry because she parked in the garage. I asked how, and she told me to go check it out. Turns out that while I was gone, she hired some people to come over and move everything related to that car, including the drivetrain, body, and chassis and all of the parts, and take it to the local dump and scrapyard. I was absolutely dumbfounded. I had spent over $11,000 on that car, including new parts, services, and the car itself. I told her that I was going to be taking her to court for that, and she brushed me off like I was being dramatic. I told her that it's done between us and to pack her things and leave. I admit I was really angry, but I did end up getting a lawyer, and as I have all the receipts for all that money spent, and I have her on my house's security cam footage letting the guys in and watching them take it all, I think I can win. Her family and friends are absolutely blowing me up, saying that it's just a stupid old piece of junk and that she can't pay back all that money I spent and that I should just let it go. But I've been putting all my time, effort, and money into that car for a year and a half now, and gosh darn it if I'm not going to get justice for what she did. Am I the jerk? Edit. Thank you all so much for the support and awards and everything. I'm glad I have some people on my side. I got a call from her mom about 20 minutes ago, and she told me that I was ruining her daughter's life over a stupid car. I told her she ruined her own life. I've been gathering documentation and stuff, and I'm about to head down to the police station and file a report, as suggested by Lots here. Once again, thank you all. Update. Went to the police station last night, was told to come back in the morning. Just got back and filed an official report against her for grand larceny and grand theft auto. I showed them all the receipts I had for the car and the footage of her letting the guys come and take it, as well as the title for the vehicle in my name. They said they'll be in contact with all three parties, me, my ex-girlfriend, and the junkyard guys soon, and they'll hopefully be able to recover some or all of the car. Just have to wait now. Huge update, they found my goddamn car! The junkyard guys apparently were in the middle of hiding it when the police came to ask them questions. It was on a forklift and they were going to put it on top of a pile of cars that was hidden behind more piles of cars. They said it was theirs and they had the title, but obviously didn't have the title for it. And since they matched the VIN on the chassis and body to the VIN on my title, it was obviously mine. I know at least one person there has been arrested. I think he was in the camera footage I talked about earlier, but I don't know if it was the boss or whomever or even his specific charge. They also told me that they would be looking into this specific junkyard for any other vehicles reported stolen. They said they haven't been able to get in contact with my ex just yet, but they're working on it. I'm just so glad they found my car. Luckily, I made quite an album of pictures detailing me tearing down the car, and so I can use that to prove what parts they had were mine, so I can hopefully get most or all of it back. Police haven't let me take it back home yet, as they say it's evidence or something, so hopefully I can get it back eventually. Thank you all so much for the support and advice. She's gonna be alright. So what OP had go on here was like such a roller coaster. Their car is gone. Holy crap, they're out 11 grand. You know, ready to get the pitchforks and take her to the cleaners with a lawyer, and then bam, the police find the car. But they said it's evidence and they're gonna have to hold on to it. I think here's the real problem. If they're going to go and do an investigation into the scrapyard for possibly other missing vehicles, all of a sudden I'm not sure how long it's going to take before they can release the evidence back to OP. You know, the evidence that proves they were trying to steal and or hide this car. Do you guys down in the comments think OP is seeing that car anytime soon? Diabolical Deb commented, "Not the jerk. Sue her butt. Sue her for cost plus a few extra $1,000 for the time and money. Have her prosecuted for theft, destruction of private property, and have the guys that came to get it prosecuted for receiving stolen goods. Nail them all to the wall." OP replied commenting, "I mean, I can't blame the guys that came and got it. She told them it was her dad's and she had lost the title for it and wanted it gone. And they believed her, so it's not their fault they got lied to." Obviously, OP's updates came after these comments. Our next story is, am I the jerk for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? I'm a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. He's a shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing. He's a friendly guy. Danielle, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already or looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like, how sad do you have to be a grown butt man taking out your anger on high school and college kids? So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine. So James came in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy started ranting at him too, so he was just like, OP, this is unacceptable. You're fired. I started acting real sad. Like, no, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job, please. And he played up being a hard butt, telling me to take my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack, like, it isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it. And James was like, no, we pride ourselves on the best customer service. Of course, after all that drama, I still had my job. We were just acting. And we've done it a couple of times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I, James will storm in and fire us. And almost every time, the person who would come in angry will apologize and say that they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying, making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking that they'd gotten someone who desperately needs the money fired. Am I the jerk for this joke? I myself pride myself on being a very low-brow comedian. Low-level, half-rate, whatever you want to call it. I myself love what OP did here. Is it over the top? Sure. Could it potentially cause some kind of second thought, maybe some rational thought in these people who are overreacting? I think so. Maybe what OP and their coworkers are doing here is that slight twinge of trauma that these angry, irate people need to kind of recalibrate. You know, back to being a normal member of society for at least a little while. Fresian commented, everybody sucks here. The customers are obviously jerks for being jerks for no good reason. Yes, you are a little bit of a jerk. Is it justified? Absolutely. Are you still a jerk? Yes. Unfortunately, in a customer service role, you're always going to have to deal with people who are angry over absolutely nothing. It's part of the job. Is it fair? No. In a perfect world, those customers wouldn't exist, but we live in a reality, and that is part of the reality, especially of that job. Mad Maxter commented, I also think everybody sucks here, but for totally different reasons. I just think that any such drama reflects poorly on the business. And not to the jerk customers, but to others as well. If the coffee shop I went to occasionally had an episode like this where some poor kid is being fired loudly by the owner's son, I wouldn't want to go there much anymore. I'd feel awful for the kid. So they'd lose out on a few customers, the jerks, and people who don't approve of such meanness toward the waitstaff. Our next story is, am I the jerk for bringing up my brother's premature birth at Christmas dinner to get my parents to shut up? I'm a nurse practitioner, and I'm the primary care provider for a lot of the low-risk maternity cases at the practice where I work. I also work hand-in-hand with the doctors and midwives to create a healthy maternity, birth, and postpartum situation. My fiancée is completing her residency. We live together and have for a few years now. We aren't in any hurry to get married. We originally had plans to do so a couple of years ago, but then we got really busy for 2 years. It is driving my very religious parents crazy that their youngest son is living in sin. I don't really care. I'm an adult and I do what I want. We're getting married in June. So we're visiting my parents for Christmas. The way it came together this year is everyone is at my parents' house. So that's my folks, my 3 siblings, myself and fiance, and 7 grandchildren. So 17 people. At dinner, my mom starts going on about how she's so glad that we're finally getting married and she won't be embarrassed at church anymore. And my dad says how proud he is of his 3 older kids who all either wanted to get married before moving in together or got married right away after moving in together. My fiance was getting embarrassed and I was getting mad over this stupid argument we've had too many times. And a family dinner was the last straw. I have asked them repeatedly to just accept that they cannot control how I live my life. I refuse to stay with them when I visit, even if I come alone. Hotels are just easier. So I started talking about a premature baby I'd been reading about. It was almost 3 months premature and weighed about 1.6 pounds. It was super strong and healthy for being born so little, and the NICU had high hopes for the baby doing well. My mom and dad both got deer in the headlights looks on their faces. Too bad. Should not have freaked around with my fiance's feelings. So I asked about my oldest brother. He was born almost 4 months premature. Is there a chance we could check out the family album where we keep all the records of family births and stuff? I already know my brother was over 9 pounds and almost 23 inches long when he was born. My grandmother told me all about it the first time my parents tried to shame me. The subject gets changed very fast. After supper, my parents told me that I shouldn't try to embarrass them with private things that aren't my concern. I told them that if I'd heard anything about my living arrangements ever again for the rest of my life, I would make sure to keep bringing up the fact that my mom was in her second trimester when they got married. My parents were mad at me for telling them how to behave in their own home, but my fiance's happy that they seem to be off the subject for good. Am I the jerk? Thank God for grandmas, right? This is like getting the intel scoop straight from your enemies or bullies' parents. All 17 of them are sitting around the Christmas dinner table playing a metaphorical game of Uno, and OP's got the last draw 4 card just waiting for them to give them a chance to play it. I'm so glad you won't be living in sin. You really want to play that game, huh? Scammer C commented, "Not the jerk. My Grammy used to say, the first baby after marriage can come anytime. The second one always takes 9 months." Next time they give you guys grief, discuss how comfortable the backseat of your dad's old car was. Alternatively, No Mathematician 4660 commented, "You are the jerk. You knew how your parents felt about your living situation. You chose to go to their home." Our next story is, am I the jerk for making a dad joke? Note, my stepdaughter Madeline was about a year old when I married her mother Jessica. Madeline's father died before she was born. Madeline is currently 15 and she's rebelling for almost everything. She did something bad, so while picking her up, I set up a punishment for her. Then she said, "You're not my dad. I don't have to follow you." Honestly, I got a bit hurt from that, but I understand that she didn't mean it and that she would probably change. I just replied, "I'm still your legal guardian for the next 3 years, and as long as you're in my house, you have to follow my rules." That happened about 2 days ago, so our family was going grocery shopping when Madeline said, "I'm hungry. I need food." I decided to be extremely cheeky and said, "Hi, hungry. I'm not your dad." My son just started to laugh uncontrollably, my daughter was just quiet with embarrassment, and my wife was berating me not to stoop down to her level. I honestly thought it was a funny dad joke, and my son agrees, so am I the jerk? Edit, I did adopt her, so legally I am her parent. Mini update, I'll probably give a full update later, but here's what happened so far. I go to my daughter's room after dinner and begin talking with her. I said, "Hey, I'm really sorry that I hurt you by the words I said, and I am really your dad. I changed your diapers, I met your boyfriend, and I plan on helping you through college. And plus, legally I am your dad, so we're stuck together. But seriously, I'm going to love you like my daughter even if you don't think I'm your dad." And then I hugged her. She did start to cry. I assume that's good. So maybe OP could have been the jerk here. They definitely saved it in the second half. And I'm assuming those tears are a good thing. I mean, hey, it surely couldn't hurt to have that kind of an experience with your parents sitting down and saying, "Look, I am your parent, I changed your diapers, I met your boyfriend, I'm gonna put you through college, I'm your dad and I'm here for you, even if you don't want me." Like, makes me want to cry just thinking about it. Kelly Bell 94 commented, "Not the jerk if it was just a one-time thing. Teenagers are a special test of our patience." On the other hand, Manu Swag commented, "Small, you're the jerk here. If it was your biological daughter, it would be okay, but she's your stepdaughter. I know you love her, but she can be really insecure because you're not her real dad. When she said that to you, you were a little bit hurt, but she could be devastated. Hearing that can really make her mind spin. And your wife is right. You stepped to her level." Our next story is, am I the jerk for not telling my dad he isn't getting the inheritance he's expecting? My mother died when I was 16. My dad married another woman 2 years later. My grandparents, my dad's parents, hate my stepmother. I really don't like her either. Even after my half-siblings were born, my grandparents never warmed up to her. My grandparents are quite wealthy. My father's been banking on this inheritance for a while. He's not even been paying into his retirement because he's so sure that he'll inherit the millions. I just found out on Saturday that I'm getting the majority of my grandparents' estate. My father is getting a token amount of $50,000, so he can't dispute it. My grandparents made me promise not to give out any money after, and I intend to keep my word. But I do feel really guilty that my father just spends his money as it's coming in because he's relying on money he won't get. I also found out that my dad is in a lot of debt. Am I the jerk for not telling him? So I would love if you guys could leave in the comments your opinion on whether or not OP should or should not have told their dad, because I myself, and maybe this is me thinking selfishly, I would say no, because you're especially implicated in this. You found out that you're going to get the lion's share of that inheritance. That is going to put so much strain on your relationship with your dad right now if you tell him. It almost certainly will later too if they find out the details, but especially now. Iconoclast63 commented, "Not the jerk. But your grandparents are kind of cruel for letting him keep digging a deeper and deeper hole, all the while knowing what he expects. They should go ahead and tell him so he can plan accordingly." On the other hand, Why Not Bode commented, "You're the jerk. He's your dad. You'd rather see his life ruined than just tell him once and for all? Oh my freaking god, some people here don't know what family is. Holy freak." But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another absolutely crazy Am I the Jerk Here story, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.